Congratulations, Dana, Max, oh my gosh. Well done.
Hello. Welcome back to the Wild Business Growth Podcast. This is your place to hear from a new entrepreneur every single Wednesday morning who's turning wild ideas into wild growth. I'm your host, Max Branstetter, founder and podcast producer at Max Podcasting. And you can email me at max@maxpodcasting.com to save time with your high-quality podcast. This is episode 213, and it is a very, 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 very on repeat, etc., repeated A to Z special episode. This is the annual Thanksgiving special, which is a family or family business episode. And I think this one is by far the most unique yet. Full disclosure, it does not have too much business talk, so it's a little bit different, except for the outstanding customer service of the vendors. But this is the interview with my wife, Dana Branstetter, formerly Dana Gottiner, who I am very appreciative, was willing to recap our very recent, at the time of this recording, wedding. And it was just the most special and beautiful and wonderful and amazing, as you'll hear, a night and weekend of our lives. And we wanted to share, kind of our take, our perspectives of how the weekend went, everything from the build-up through brunch and into the mini-moon after it, and give you some behind-the-scenes from the new husband and wife. So this is the wedding recap, special edition, Thanksgiving family edition, wedding recap edition of the Wild Business Growth Podcast. If you are listening to this around the time of Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Have the bestest time with your family. And if not, have a spectacular day. Enjoy the show. Alrighty, we are here for maybe the most special episode, and with, I'd have to say, the most special guest of all time. Very special Thanksgiving family episode with the artist formerly known as Dana Gottiner, my wife, my lovely, beautiful wife, Dana Branstetter, a.k.a. Dana Gottiner, Michelle Branstetter, who's already making faces at me. Dana, we are recording this 1 week exactly after getting married, so we thought we'd do a special wedding recap celebration episode. Dana, thank you so much for joining. You've had the longest commute of any guest. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Oh, awesome. See, you're a natural podcaster. No more faces were made. No eyes were rolled in the taping of this recording. But yeah, so this is a very, very surreal time. I alluded to in the previous episode. We had the passing of my grandpa Fred, and right after that we had the final build up for the wedding, which was amazing. We'll talk a lot about that today. And then between the funeral and the wedding, we had a little hurricane scare. So why not just throw craziness on top of craziness? But what we're going to do today is cover some of the memorable moments from the wedding. And for those who were there, thanks again for coming. I mean, it was the best night of our lives, easily. And for those who weren't there, I think you'll enjoy this look. Whether you're there or not, you'll enjoy this look behind the scenes. And I think for us, selfishly, this is going to be kind of a keepsake to look back on. So we want to start off, without further ado, with the build up to the wedding, where we were checking the weather all week leading up to our wedding in Florida, and we see there's rain, and more rain, and then it comes out that there's a storm brewing in the tropics, and actually they think it's gonna escalate to a hurricane the week of our wedding. So all of a sudden it went from stress enough people traveling down to Florida as usual to, oh my God, we have a bunch of guests that need to dodge a hurricane, including ourselves. So Dana, what was going through your mind when we first learned that a hurricane might be invited to our wedding as well?
It was definitely a stressful situation, trying to make sure that we get down in time and have time down there to do what we needed to do, as well as all our guests get down there in time. It was rough. It was hard.
It was hard. Was there any point that you thought, oh my God, the actual wedding might be in jeopardy or get postponed?
No.
You knew. You had faith. So we had this hurricane scare. We eventually got into Florida and were able to ride out the hurricane there. And it was great, obviously, that the bride and groom were there. You know, that was kind of the first checkbox. We're like, okay, we're going to our own wedding. That's great. But then we have the super stressfulness of like, oh my God, all of our friends and family, including people from all across the U.S., even people, family
and Europe.
in Europe. Yeah, people in Europe. People from all around the world coming in for the wedding, and we kind of just have to sit there and hope that we get the text from everybody, hey, arrived and landed. How was that experience for you of like just sitting and waiting for people to hopefully come in?
Well, luckily for me, 2 of my bridesmaids had arrived either right before me or right after me. So that was very relieving, but I still had 2 other bridesmaids that needed to get in. But other than that, it was a lot of not sure who was going to be able to get in, if we were going to cut our guest list in half based on who was going to arrive, how would the last minute shuffle of tables work out. There was definitely some stress.
Yeah, like do we need to move from the ballroom to like a like the bathroom of your parents' house? Do we need like we were joking like, okay, we're at least up to double digit guests. Okay, we're at 20 guests, and oh my God, yeah, that was crazy. So why not throw a hurricane in between a funeral and a wedding? So anyway, we got in. Let's fast forward to Friday. So Friday, more and more people are in, obviously, and this was like the Friday welcome party / welcome dinner hosted by my parents. Shout out Greg and Joanne Branstetter. This Friday night, I think, was the first time that like it really, really hit us, and the first time that we saw like lots of people together, and it kind of hit us of, oh my God, like all these people are here to celebrate with us, and somehow everybody made it from all around the U.S. and Europe, to Dana's point. So welcome party. What was kind of, Dana? What was like your main takeaway or like a memorable moment from the actual Friday night welcome party?
Like you said, I think just having everybody who was there for us and was celebrating us all in one place was really cool. My outfit was definitely something that I was really excited about, wearing my mother's wedding gown. That was very special, and to have other people see it was awesome. But I remember when we pulled up to the hotel, I like flung right out of the car, because I was just so excited to see people that we knew, and just knowing that all these people had flown in for us to celebrate us that weekend was amazing.
It was. And your outfit, I remember it was so cool. And there's obviously pictures online of it. And I think you first heard of this idea. What was it? It was like a friend's or family friend's wedding that there was a bride that you can basically explain it.
Yeah, shout out Lindsay Goldberg. She won't listen to this, but
she might.
Like, I don't even know how many, 5 years ago maybe, she had her wedding over the summer, and her Friday night outfit was recreating her mother's wedding gown. So she wore that, and I like fell in love with the idea, knowing that my mom's dress was preserved. We didn't know what it would look like, but after about 2 months after we got engaged, we were down in Florida, so we decided that would be, my whole family was down there, and that would be like a perfect time to pull it out, try it on, and see if we could do that with my dress. We didn't have many contacts down in Florida to know who could recreate the dress, but luckily we had our wedding planner, Joni, gave us someone who was amazing and really had a vision for the dress. And took the dress and made it what it was. But back a year ago, when I tried on the dress, it didn't fit me. It was from the 80s. The sleeves were huge. There was a corset back that wouldn't even close. So there was definitely a lot of work that had to be done to that dress to make it wearable, if that's a word.
And I think the coolest part about it was it looked beautiful on its own. And you could see in the pictures, and like everybody who saw you in that dress was like, oh my God, like I love your dress. It's so amazing. And I think there were a good amount of people that didn't even know the story behind it. So like they genuinely just thought it was really cool and really nice and like a creative dress. And then they learned the story behind it. They're like, wait, that's Cheryl's dress? So that's really cool. It came full circle and made for some awesome throwback pictures. So the outfit was awesome. I got to say mine was pretty good as well. It just didn't have as much story to it.
One more thing, if you need a dressmaker down in Florida, shout out Sasha. She was amazing. If you need her information, let me know, and I'm happy to give it out.
Perfect. Shout out Sasha. It's a lot of S's. Sasha sells seashore by the seashore. The other thing that I think struck me Friday, and I don't know if you felt the same way, but I had people ask me, like, my buddy Jason was like, has it hit you yet? Like, this is your wedding weekend. Like all these people are like, does this feel like your wedding? And I was having a hard time describing it, which, as you know, per usual for me, but I was like, it's kind of strange this weekend. Like, it's like you're invited to a party that all your friends and family and like everybody from your life that you love are at. And everywhere you look, it's like, oh my God, so-and-so's here, so-and-so's here. And you go, and it's constant. And then you like kind of have to remind yourself, like, wait, like they're here, like, for our wedding and to celebrate with us. It's almost like just a big party everybody you love is at, and you have to keep reminding yourself, wait, we're kind of the star of the shows here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it really hit me that it was our wedding weekend until maybe my first look with my dad, but I guess we'll get to that. But it was just, a lot of everybody was there for us, but like it wasn't really fully hitting me that it was the weekend that we've been planning.
So, Mrs. Branstetter, you're officially the queen of segues because we're going to get to wedding day. So, yeah, again, amazing night Friday night. We stayed up not too late and were able to get some sleep, at least some. I think any sleep you get the day before your wedding is you'll take it. Saturday, we wake up Saturday, November 12th. It's wedding day. Holy shnikes, to keep this age appropriate. The girls, obviously, Dana, you and your bridesmaids and, the moms and anybody else who was getting ready, the grandmas, got kind of about a 2-3 hour early start than the guys, me and the groomsmen and my dad and your dad. But yeah, basically that whole morning and then like lunchtime was like getting ready time. So, for the guys, like we're getting our makeup done, we're getting our hair. No, for the girls, we're getting, you're getting hair, makeup, which I have to say you, of course, and then everybody looked stunning, unbelievable. And then the guys, it's more of like, all right, show up later, eat lunch, and then put the tuxes on. But how was the whole, like, what were like the vibes, the energy? Like how would you describe that whole, those few hours of like you and all your girls and, the moms like getting ready in anticipation of this huge day?
So my mom and I arrived first. We started at 9, but we wanted to get there a little early and do just a walkthrough of the venue and make sure everything looked okay. So we got there. Obviously, I woke up way before my alarm, which doesn't often happen for me. But I was very excited. And then we got there. And then slowly my bridesmaids started coming. And Emma, my maid of honor, arrived. And then my other bridesmaids arrived as well. So by the time I was getting going with my hair, all my girls were there. And we were just celebrating and having a good time. And everybody got their hair and makeup done, and my mom went, and then I finished up mine. And it was exciting. Our wedding planner arrived, the assistant arrived. Hair and makeup was awesome. Their assistants were great. And we just had a fun time. We had breakfast, then we had lunch. It was a lot of meals that we spent that we had there.
What was like the ratio of excitement to nervousness / anxiety in that time?
It's probably a lot of both.
50-50.
50-50, yeah. Exciting knowing like that it was like the wedding day, but not really like feeling that it was like it hasn't really hit you fully yet. But definitely like nervous at knowing that like everybody's eyes were on you that day and it was all about you. But it was overall fun. It was a lot of fun getting ready. Absolutely.
And I'll echo that for the guys. Obviously less hair and makeup, but yeah, we showed up at 1 and had there was a beautiful spread out, as the guys in Pardon My Take say, some spread. And we had great meal, watch Indiana get crushed by Ohio State football on in the background per usual. And then we started getting dressed. And I do have to say that we all, including the fathers, took one shot of Macallan 12 whiskey to start off the day. So that was a good jump start to everything. And we made it through the day. So that was a good tradition, which is now a tradition. But anyway, let's get to the good stuff. First look. There's a couple first looks here. The first look. Dana, can you describe how the first look with your father went?
The first look with my dad was awesome. That's like really the time that it all kind of hit me that this was happening. Just having him walk in, and he had never seen me in my wedding gown. He didn't want to go to any of the fittings because he wanted it to be a surprise. So when he saw me for the first time, it was just obviously a lot of emotions now, and even more emotions then.
It's beautiful. And I was up next. I didn't get to see any of that, but I saw the pictures after. But I think afterwards, one of the planners or something, maybe it was your mom or my mom, said like, probably your mom, said like, you and your dad's first look was just absolutely beautiful. And like, it was emotions all around. And it was, yeah, that like, you know, that's one of the first huge like wedding, like, oh my God moments. And you're the buddy, as Gary said in his speech. So that was, yeah, I have chills thinking about it. It's just beautiful. And then this dope Max comes in. No, but I have to say that's when, because I kept, for our first look, I'd have to say that's the moment that it all really, really hit me. Because I like wasn't, like the night before, I wasn't nervous at all. I kept asking me, are you nervous or nervous? I'm like, no, I'm like kind of nervous that I'm not nervous, because it was a little unsettling. Like I thought I'd be more nervous. And even the morning of, I was like, no, I was excited. I was like, let's make this happen. I wasn't nervous. And then when they pulled me out, well, first of all, like walking me through Edison, through the wedding venue, you know, like the planners and photographers walking me through, and then had to make sure not to like let me get too far ahead because they didn't want me to see you before it was time. That was kind of funny. I felt like I was walking around with like Secret Service agents or something. And then when they pulled me outside, they literally were like, all right, well, Dana's in that room to the left, so you can walk out this way, but do not look to the left. So that was weird because I'd never been in that situation before. So I walk out and they spend a few minutes getting me ready, and I'm literally just standing out there like looking in the opposite direction. And that was like when it all hit me, because I remember looking at the videographer and photographer and being like, oh my God, okay, I think it hit me, because it was so nerve-wracking just waiting there, like knowing that you're going to like walk up behind me and, you know, tap me on the shoulder or whatever you were going to do. And I was finally going to get to see you in that dress for the first time, which of course you were really good at not letting me see it either. Not that I tried, but that was like,
I definitely tried to show you.
Yeah.
A few times.
No, you were very excited. You were like, I cannot wait to show you how amazing this looks. But that was just so nerve-wracking, just standing there waiting and being like, oh my God, like this is like, I'm about to see like my bride in her dress like any second now. And also I think the way that they do it, of like you walking up from behind, is like extra nerve-wracking. So finally I hear you, I'm like almost like shaking, and I hear like your footsteps walking out, and like the videographer or photographer is like, okay, Dana's behind you, like don't look, just like keep looking this way, and then this is the way to turn. It was also really funny because you end up tapping me on the left shoulder, but the photographer, shout out Lara, who's amazing, told me to turn to the right because that's where the camera was. So you probably expected me to turn to the left because you tapped the left, but I turned to the right just for photo's sake.
I just would like to say that I wasn't told which shoulder to tap you on, so it wasn't my fault that happened. No,
it's great. But so I can't wait to see those pictures. But I'm trying to think of what I think I said, like, when I finally saw you, said like, oh my God, it was gorgeous, or like was just speechless. I don't even know, but it was.
The video will tell.
Exactly. But you are, I mean, you're always stunning. And in that moment oh my God, I almost like flew into outer space. Okay. Anything else on first look? That's a hefty one.
No, I mean, I feel like from the first look, I was a little nervous walking up, but when I saw you from behind, I felt relaxed and fine.
Oh, the back of my head is ridiculous.
Yeah. So then after that, it was honestly, it was a little awkward having everybody cameras on us, like recording us, and I felt like we had to like act some way, but like then it kind of went back into place and everything was normal again. But
I do want to shout out our buddy Jared Freeman, who probably 1 minute after the initial first look, walks through the background shirtless, like post-workout. I'm like, oh, thank you. So Jared was a big part of the first look as well. So that was hilarious. All right. So as you alluded to, there were just a couple photos. I think the next block of like, 2-3 hours? Actually, yeah, it was about 3 hours all in all with our pictures, bridal party photos, bridal party pictures, and then family pictures was obviously a big block. So tons of pictures, which at the time of this recording, we've gotten the sneak peek on some of them from Lara, and they're just gorgeous. Like we literally can't stop scrolling through them. So we can't wait to see the full albums, but just awesome pictures in a bunch of different cool settings. I think what was really cool about the weekend was like after the storm passed in the middle of the week, for the vast majority of the weekend and days leading up to it, like it was beautiful, like 82 and sunny. And it did storm on our wedding night, but so much of it was inside that it didn't impact anything. But the pictures we were able to do like all outside, and that was really, really cool. But yeah, as you mentioned, it was really funny. Like it was very cute. After we had our first look, we had our, just pictures with you and I, and brought us out by the putting green and by like the waterfall in the background. And then we'd look out and we see like, we're like, oh wait, there's my buddy. It's like the groomsmen were peeking out, trying to look at glimpses. Like I saw my parents out there, saw your grandma Phyllis. Like everybody was just trying to catch a look of us together for the first time, which was really, really, really sweet. But there's tons of stuff with photos. But what else sticks out to you from like the photo experience overall?
Sorry to Addison Reserve if I ruined their putting green with my heels. Walking you're already on your tippy toes when you're in heels, but I had to walk extra on my tippy toes so that my heels wouldn't sink into the putting green. So that was definitely a challenge, but I'm so happy we did it because some of those photos were in our sneak peek and they look awesome. It's even the background of my phone right now. I just love looking at it. So I can't wait to see all the photos that come out of that.
Yeah, it was like that one was like instant lock screen for you. You're like, oh my God, this is perfect. And your dress looked amazing. And as you might expect, it's slightly more maintenance and kind of propping and setting up with your train than versus, my shoes and boutonniere. But another thing that sticks out of that was, it was really fun, like doing the, the bridal party ones and like the groomsmen together. And oh my God, there's some ridiculous, like there's one where Cam is a football center snapping me a fake football, and I'm the quarterback. So that, get excited for those.
Oh, can't wait.
Yeah. No sarcasm there.
We had after that, we went with the girls to the pool, and you guys were kind of there too in a different area. But I guess these kids saw me as a bride, and she came running out of the pool. And she was soaking wet, and we were all like, do not get that close to me. Like, don't get anywhere near. And she was like saying like how she was a bride and she was married. And we were just like, okay, great. But now you got to go because you're wet and we don't want you anywhere near us. But that was definitely funny. And luckily she did leave at some point, but then we were able to take our photos. But that's what the pond of water was by us. I don't know if you remember, if you saw it there, but we were always like, don't walk in the water because of the girl.
Oh my God. And that, I don't know if it's the same girl or not, but came over to the grooms, and this might have been all the bridal parties together, but came by kind of towards the end as they were taking pictures and got like really, really close behind the photographer. And this cute little girl was just like, are you getting married? No, we're just playing dress up. But it was really, really cute. It might have been the same girl that complimented you in your dress the next day. Anyway, so we took those pictures. The other thing I just want to shout out, especially your bridesmaids during the family photos, especially Dana and Alyssa. We were just outside the building in this, we had like an hour of family photos to get through, and it's chop. There's so many different combinations of people to get through. And I know you felt like it didn't come through in the pictures, but you said you were dripping sweat. I was really hot in my tux jacket. And so it was like, it was really hot at that point in the day, and we're kind of like, all right, let's just get these done. And Dana and Alyssa were literally like holding ice to our backs and like cooling you down. And they're like, literally whatever you need, like we're there for you. And so like they were just so, so helpful. They're amazing.
Yeah, they were great. It also, I felt like it got like 10 degrees hotter from our couples photos, and then the bridal party photos were great, and then all of a sudden it was family photos time, and it just felt like it was 10 to 15 degrees hotter at that moment. I could just feel the sweat dripping down me, and I was just hoping that it couldn't be seen through the wedding gown, but
Yeah, it was. No, they from what we've seen already, they came out amazing. We got through photos, and then we have like a half an hour to chill before the ketubah signing. So that was really nice, just to kind of like take a breather for a little bit. And then I thought, like, besides the first look, the next thing that really, really made it feel real was like the ketubah signing, because this was, you know, a little dirty inside trick. You know, we called the wedding for 6, but that's when the ketubah signing was. We weren't walking down the aisle to 6:30, so you give buffer time for people to get there. So we meet back in, you know, that private room at 6 for the ketubah signing, and we're there with, you know, our immediate families, the grandmas. Shout out our aunts Karen and Lori, who are the witnesses. We meet the rabbi in person for the first time, which was awesome. Shout out Rabbi Kaplan. We're there with the planners and photographers and everything. And, you know, we signed the whole ketubah signing process. I thought was like Rabbi Kaplan did a really great job of like making sure we knew what we were signing and making jokes about it, and making, you know, it's like, I'm required to buy you jewelry every year on our anniversary, probably your birthday too. And then, you know, we took some amazing family pictures together. But overall, I just thought that was really cool, and also felt really real, because we knew within half an hour we'd be walking down the aisle, and, you know, people were gathering outside and going to their seats. How was that experience for you?
yeah, I mean, the vault, the room it's called the vault itself. It's just a gorgeous room. So just being in there and having our, like you said, who was there, our meeting family, the grandmas, everybody was just there. And that was like a moment, like we were signing the papers, like we were, according to the Jewish religion, we were legally married once we signed the ketubah. So like that was very like real in the moment as well. But just having everyone surrounding us and, you know, taking those pictures, and now we have the pictures of it. And it was just, I know. I describe everything it was amazing. I keep using it. It was amazing. No words.
It's amazing that you keep using that word. No, I agree. Yeah, it was just stunning. Real life, big stuff. Let's get closer to 6:30. By the way, I guess I've had this happen in the past before, like a big presentation or something. But when I get really nervous, and at that point I was definitely nervous. When I get really nervous, my mouth starts to get really dry. So I try to make up for that by drinking a ton of water, which was great, except like it wasn't really helping my mouth that much. And then right before the ceremony, I had to pee really bad. So at some point when we're all like lining up in order of what we're walking down the aisle, I like disappeared for a little bit. And then I hear outside people going, "Where's Max? Where's Max?" And then your dad like found me in the bathroom and was just like, "Oh my God, I thought we had like a runaway groom." And I was like, "Oh, no, I just had to pee."
I wasn't concerned at all. I don't even think I was there when they were saying, "Where was Max?" So that was good. One less thing for me to stress about.
Exactly. You stress about
But
me
I
enough.
was more stressed. Like, it seemed like it was just taking forever to like get started. I'm sure it wasn't that long that we were standing in line there. But it felt like a long time. I don't know about for you, but I guess you went to the bathroom, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the more memorable bathroom experiences of my life, we'll save that for a different episode. But anyway, we're all lined up and we're outside, and like we can actually, I don't know if you could see it from your angle because you're at the back, obviously, but like we could kind of see the last 2 rows of people in the room looking in when we were outside. So that was crazy of like, oh wow, people are like seeing us and looking back, and like we're seeing them, and then like, you know, seeing some people for the first time. It was just that was really, really cool. So ceremony starts. The grandmas walk down, our siblings walk down, you know, the pairings of different groomsmen and bridesmaids. I walk down with my parents. And then at the tail end is, you know, obviously your maid of honor and cousin. We joke sister cousin, bestie, Emmy, and then you and your parents. And I just have to say, like, you know, we already had the first look, obviously, but seeing you walk down the aisle with your parents was very, very surreal and just beautiful. And you could just see, like, there wasn't like a single person in the room that wasn't like ear to ear smile and or tears down their face. And so it was perfect. And also was seeing it cool seeing it all come together, because, you know, we picked out the songs that they played during that, and it was cool to like experience that, you know, live, everything planned. And yeah, it was just gorgeous. How, from your perspective, what was it like walking down that aisle?
I felt very relaxed. And then I got into the view of like the first, like you said, the first few rows in the back, and I just heard like the reactions of people, and that kind of made me a little nervous to walk down the aisle. But obviously, like, seeing you at the end was great. It made it a lot easier. My dress did have a very big train that did get caught on the runner as we walked down. So I felt like I was really pulling myself down that aisle just to get the dress there. But hopefully it didn't show in when other people looked at it. You couldn't tell, but
the train kept rolling. No, I don't think it came off that way.
Okay, well, that's good.
And like everybody and their mom, literally for some big cases, was taking pictures of you. I was taking mental pictures. So yeah, that was amazing. And then I think for me, I thought, like, looking back now, the whole ceremony was like a blur. Like, there's so many different parts of it. You know, we did the walking around each other in circles. That was a funny moment because we both like counted out each time we did it and everybody saw it. So we did that. Rabbi Kaplan did an amazing job with everything.
Yeah, Rabbi Kaplan was amazing.
Yeah.
We had like a couple conferences with him just to, get to know each other, but he really pulled it all together.
And he also got us to think about, we were debating whether that we each would have speaking parts doing or not, but he said, don't think of it as vows, think of it as words from the heart. And I thought that was a really good way to approach it. And you had like thought yours out before, and it was beautiful, and I was very emotional during that. And then I did mine, which mine were probably more non-traditional, but I really enjoyed saying that to you in front of everybody as well. Anything else that like stood out to you about the ceremony before? We'll get to the smash glass in a second, but overall?
No, but the ceremony space, I mean, that was the first time I had seen like the huppah and the talits and the florals, and it just like, we had a meeting with the florist to kind of see what he was thinking and make sure that that's the vision that we had, and then just to see it all together in the ceremony room was awesome, because you can only like, the separate pieces, and you have ideas for the huppah, but you don't really know exactly what it's going to look like. But it was perfect. I mean, in my opinion, it was perfect.
It was perfect. I agree. I second the perfectionness. And then this was a part that I was most nervous about out of anything the entire weekend, because you don't think it's a big deal when you see other people do it, but then when you're the one that does it, you're like, oh man, I really want to do this on the first try, was smashing the glass at the end, which I think is one of the coolest traditions. Obviously, very popular Jewish tradition at weddings. You smash the glass, everybody says Mazel Tov. And I was, I had never smashed a glass before. So I was just like asking people, like, there's not many tips. Like, I even Googled online. There's not many tips about the way to do it and successfully do it. But I think what helped is, it was on our registry. We did ask for an actual smash glass that was made for this purpose. So it was probably easier to break than if we were using like a big wine glass or something else. Lipo would probably be easier.
If you look at the inside of the smash glass, there were like little lines that definitely were like the break lines, like to make it easier for it to break.
But I have to say, like, the moment so it's very nerve-wracking when like Rabbi Kaplan puts the glass in front of me, lowers the mic down there and says, all right, Max, whenever you're ready. It goes from like a moment of being like very nervous and like, oh my God, to when I actually stomped on it and it broke right away. It was like instantly like pure, jubilation, celebration, relief in a way, because, all was good. And then it's so cool how like everybody says Mazel Tov, and, they say that we can kiss. And it came through in the photos of like, I think we both raised our arms and like celebrated and obviously kissed each other and then walked down the aisle after that. But it's just such a cool tradition because it's, the ceremony is like pretty serious. But there's some, some light humor in there, but it's a pretty serious thing. And then in like an instant, it goes to like, all right, congratulations, let's party. So I thought that was really, really cool. So let's party. Well, I guess before the actual party at night was right. So right after that was a cocktail hour. So right after that, we walk out. Of course, more and more pictures. There's the recession, and then or recessional, that too. And we go back to the vault where we signed the ketubah, where it was just kind of a moment for us to be by ourselves, and for like the person that was like attending to our every need to, shout out Richard, to, ask if we wanted any food or drinks. They had our signature drinks out for us. They had an amazing spread of like everything, all the hors d'oeuvres from the cocktail hour. And it was kind of our moment to just decompress. And then it was also the moment for your dress to get bustled. Is that the right term? Bustle?
Yes, that's the right
learned a lot about bustling.
A little bit into that, that's when we bustled my dress. So my mom was there, and Karen. Emmy was there, my maid of honor, and Jill was also there. Jill was awesome with the bustle. We had a video and it seemed so easy, but it wasn't as easy when it came to do it. But they made it work. Unfortunately, the bustle did break a few times during the night and I had to safety pin it. But by the end of the night, it was over my arms and it was fine. It was awesome.
Yeah, the hustle and bustle is real. So then we basically, I think we chilled in there for like maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes, just chilling, eating a bit, which was great because everybody says you don't eat at your wedding. And like we actually were able to eat a little bit then there, try the drinks. And then right before we went out and finally joined people in the cocktail hour, which we really missed a lot of it, but we heard it was fantastic. We were just soaking in like being by ourselves and like having some peace and quiet for, the only time over the next, 7 hours or whatever it was. And we did practice, just because we had never practiced in our wedding attire, we practiced our first dance in there, which was really fun just to do it one more time. And we were like, we got it right, but you realize that you had to maybe raise your dress a little bit with your hands to make sure that you don't trip on it. So that was kind of like the last hurrah. And then it was like, go out and boom, just like the flooding of everybody coming up and like, congratulations, get pictures all around. So that was...
Yeah, I'm not sure if we were ever together during the cocktail hour. We took maybe like 2 pictures with like people in the beginning, and then we were both being pulled in different directions and just seeing, everybody there. Just trying to get to everybody so that we could see everybody. That was definitely hard.
And then the party. So like we could talk for hours. We could talk for as long as the party was about the party. I mean, it was so much fun. It always goes by so quick. It's amazing how quick like 4 or 5 hours goes by when it's you're just having the time of your life. But it was just amazing all around, and so we can't spend too much time talking about it. But as you mentioned, with the decor and flowers and everything, like everything looked amazing. The lighting was incredible. The band, Private Stock, was out of this world. Like we got so many compliments on it. They were so like interactive, and they took a lot of requests that I sent in, but also like they really like read the room and saw what people were interested in. So that was all incredible. I think some of the most memorable stuff is just the way that it starts off. Like it starts off, they introduced the bridal party, which they had, especially Cam, shout out. There's some killer dance moves there. And then they introduced us, and that was amazing, walking into this room of just like tons of our close friends and family and like people we love all going crazy just at like the sight of us and like announcing us as Mr. and Mrs. Branstetter, which is amazing. And then we get out there and like instantly they put on our first dance song, Crazy Little Thing by Love by Queen. Shout out Freddie Mercury.
Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Yeah, exactly. You would think I know it by now, how many times I've heard it. Crazy Little Thing Called Love by Queen. Shout out Freddie Mercury. And they started playing it, and then we just got to our spots on the opposite side of the dance floor. And I think it was really like, shout out to our dance instructor, Urosh, in Hoboken. I think it's Hoboken Latin in Ballroom, who just within 4 or 5 lessons, like taught us go from like a 0 to like pretty skilled swing dancers. I thought, not swingers, swing dancers. People were just like amazed. It was really fun doing that. So much we had done that dance we'd practice in front of Uros, and we'd practice just by ourselves, like in our kitchen, kind of an miniature version of the dance floor. And I think just doing it in front of everybody was so cool. Like people going crazy, like when you would do your spins or we would do the dip and everybody would absolutely go nuts. I don't know. How do you think the first dance went overall?
I mean, I thought we did a great job. Like we said, we did practice it in my dress once before we went into the cocktail hour. But even when we were doing it full out, like once my train got in there, it was really hard to fit that second turn in. But thank God you were there to continue to spin me.
Oh, I was there.
So that was so funny because like I was like laughing because I like kind of was like stuck and you like kind of helped me along the way, and then we're like, it's okay, we'll just get back into it. And I doubt anyone, now they'll know, but I doubt anyone noticed that, or maybe they did and they were still like, wow, that's awesome. But just having everybody cheering and with all the spins, it was great.
Right after that, which was like the best transition ever. Right after that, we go straight into the Hora. And the band did the Hora live, played the song, which was incredible. I always love a Hora that's like really fast paced, and they did that, so it was great. And they also kept it going for long enough that not only were we up on the chairs, But we got your parents, Gary and Cheryl, up on the chairs. We got my parents, Greg and Joanna, up on the chairs. And it was just an absolute blessing. Yeah, that too. But an absolute blast. And I think what struck me from that was like, the hor is always fun. Like, I think it's one of the best traditions, one of my favorite Jewish traditions. But when you're literally in the center of like all those people spinning around you, it's just like insane. Like, that's one of the, it's like that will forever be one of the most memorable moments of our life. So that was a ton of fun. How was it for you?
Agreed. It was awesome. Thank you for the people who were holding me up, because you held me flat so I didn't feel like I was falling off the chair. But I don't know, Max, it wasn't as easy for you.
I lasted,
fell off.
I lasted a decent amount, and then I fell. And then another really funny moment when we got my parents up there. They lasted a good amount of time. Thanks again for everybody holding up the chairs. But my dad started slipping down forward at some point and tried to hold himself up by grabbing my mom's dress. So we almost had a wardrobe malfunction there in front of literally everybody. That would be so that was a moment, but close call, nothing happened. But it was so much fun. Dancing the entire night was fun. They played so many favorites from like so many different genres and decades of music, and they were amazing. I thought it was so cool that the band would like come out and there's like horn section, or like Eric, the band leader, on his bass, or like electric bass, whatever that was, would be like in the middle of the dance floor right next to us. Like, it was so cool. And then overall, another super memorable thing was obviously the speeches. So your dad gave an amazing speech and toast kind of earlier to start everything off. And then maid of honor, Mo, cousin Emmy, gave an amazing speech kind of tied around your history going up to Stratton and Vermont together, and use metaphors for skiing and like your history as being like literally growing up as like a top ranked skier, and kind of tied everything back together with life. So that was really cool. And then Andrew, my brother, best man, literally just pretty much turned into like a full on roast of me, which was amazing.
And he nailed it.
and he nailed it. So like, what do you have to say about the speeches overall? They all like knocked out of the park.
All three speeches, and even your dad's from the Friday night, like
Yeah.
all of the speeches were, I'm trying to think of new words to use.
Amazing. They were amazing.
They all put so much thought and effort into the speeches, and it really just captured our relationship and everything that they are to us and what we are to them. And I don't want to use the word again.
I don't know. It was amazing.
They did a great job. I mean, I'm so excited to get those speeches so we can like reread them and replay them and see it in the video, because they all did. All the speeches were so different, but they all, I thought, were amazing speeches.
They were, and they were, yeah, I can't wait to like soak them in again, because they were, what's a new word? Amazing. So party overall, just like 1,000,000 out of 10. Like, it was perfect. And then, before you know it, it all goes so quick, and it's the after party. And it was really cool how it kind of transitioned. We ended up using the same room for the after party. And our planner, Joni, had the awesome idea to like get like, like all these different glow up things. So like there were like flower headdresses. There were light up rings.
There were light up flower crowns.
Light up flower crowns.
You have a new word for it every single time you mention it. But
amazing.
They were a big hit. And they were awesome. We have a very cool photo of me wearing one.
Bright, like light up neon glasses flashing that were a huge hit. And Joni was like, people eat this stuff up. People love it. So we're like, we didn't know how much to order. So we ordered it. We're like, is this going to be too much? And like, it was all used instantly. It looks so cool in the pictures. Also with like the, what they call it, intelligent lighting in the background. Like, they changed the lighting in the background to be like party lights or like rave lights. And so that was just amazing. And at some point, my groomsmen and buddies reenacted the scene from Rudy, where they put me on their shoulders and like kind of cheer and carry me out of the room. So there's pictures of that, which is amazing. But that was just a ton of fun overall. Anything else from wedding night that you want to mention, or is that?
No, I mean, I feel like it was the most dancing I've ever done. Not being a huge dancer, like we were on that dance floor the entire night. Cut
several rugs. And then, it's all surreal. Of course, stayed up late, but you still got enough sleep to interact with people. Although it is, the Sunday brunch is awesome because it's like you see everybody before they go, but it's also, it's bittersweet because so many people are leaving. And it's also, you're so kind of just like emotionally drained from the night before and like on a high from that, but also sad it's over, that you're like, oh my God, like we have to work the room. We have to go and like, hang out with everybody and thank them for coming and saying hi and all that. But it's also like we're pretty exhausted at that point. So it's kind of like a mental workout, that brunch, although the food was really good too. But the brunch was great. And then overall, like after that, before we started our mini moon, which, mini moon and future honeymoon could be a whole separate podcast. But, we hung out with your parents at your parents' place with your family and cousins for a little bit before going off to our mini moon in Fort Lauderdale. I was so excited just to like sit down, do nothing, watch football, like eat a little bit. Like it was just so nice just to like chill after all that.
No, definitely agreed. I felt like very like all of our stuff was all over the place. Like, moving from the hotel from my room to the hotel. And I just feel like I was like, I have to organize myself or I'm going to be a mess. So just going back, and we ended up not really doing any organizing because we wanted to be with my family and see everyone. But it was definitely a nice way to debrief before heading off to the mini moon.
Mini moon, we don't need to get too much into it, but it was just absolutely perfect weather, beautiful, like amazing. Damn it. Thanks, Dana. Just absolutely perfect time. And it was so nice that after like the storm scare and then the wedding and that crazy but super memorable weekend, it was just really nice to kind of decompress and kind of have that a bit before getting back to reality. That was a wonderful experience all around. This is the part that Dana doesn't know about. I do want to wrap up with a special wedding edition rapid fire Q&A. You ready for it?
Yep.
All right. Let's get wild. I know there wasn't much that you tried, but of the food you tried at the wedding, what was like the most delicious bite you tasted?
Those like arancini. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what was.
Arancini.
We weren't even sure what it was, and then we realized that's what it was. But those balls were really good. I wish our cake was very good, but I wish I tried the desserts, the his and her desserts, because those sounded amazing. We didn't make it back to our table for that. So
there's so much that we missed out on because we were just constantly like on the dance floor and like talking to people. But we heard from everybody that like all the food was amazing. So yeah, we'll have to go back next time we're at Addison. We'll have to try more. Yeah, that was really good. I thought the steak was amazing too, and the lamb medallions were amazing.
The steak was very good. I had some of that.
Other than like the songs we picked out for like first dance, the song from the ceremony, what was your favorite song that they played like when we were on the dance floor that you like just think of and have great memories of?
I don't even think you were there for it, but definitely shout out my bridesmaid Alyssa. She taught me how to do the line dance to Wagon Wheel, and whenever it comes on, no matter what wedding it is, I'll always do that line dance, and it was just so fun to do it with her. Shout out Emma Wolkoff for joining in, because the last wedding we were at, family wedding we were at, we did it, and she joined in on it. And it was just like everyone was just watching us do this like weird dance that wasn't really a line dance. Not many people see it, but that was a lot of fun.
And for the record, I might have been talking to somebody on the phone who called in for that, family member, but I also might have been in the bathroom for that, which again wasn't cold feet. I just had to pee. So yeah, that's why I missed it. But yeah, I'm really glad they played that. That's a classic.
What was your favorite song that was played?
Ooh, the basic answer is Shout's always a good time. And I think not only, Shout, it always gets people going, but my dad did the Gator, which I've seen him do before, but only on rare occasions. I don't know if they did this back in the day or what. The part of Shout where they go like a little bit softer now and everybody gets down to the floor. I'm not going to sing it. He was laying with his back on the floor and he like kicks his legs like a baby or like a baby crocodile, baby alligator, I guess. And everybody around was just like, what is going on? But apparently it's a tradition. And he's like, yeah, it's a Gator. You got to do it. And I was really glad he whipped that out for, because he just, you don't see my dad on the ground, kick his legs like that often. So that was great. Next topic. So, but then the non-basic answer, which is also kind of basic. I had requested Smells Like Bean Spirit. That should be a flavor of beans. Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, just because it's one of my favorite songs of all time. And they played it, and I remember I was like right next to Cam during it, and we both were doing like our drunken Kurt Cobain impressions, because nobody knows the words in that song, but it's just it's a classic, and that was a lot of fun because the band really like rocked. Like they could do rock, they could do jazz, they could do like all sorts of classics. But that was really cool. Okay, next topic. Enough of my dad kicking his legs, but let's get to my brother. As we mentioned, he basically his speech, and he kind of asked for permission or said that he's going to take more of the roast approach. He had an incredible roast, and I think that was the first time in my life I was crying laughing and crying at the same time. And Lara captured an incredible picture of us reacting to his roasts when we're at the sweetheart table, and that's who we're looking at. But of any of his, I don't know how much you remember, but of any of his lines or jokes that he made about me, what did you think was the funniest?
He never met someone who has a buzz cut takes so long to get ready, because it's so true. I don't understand, but you take so long to get ready. You're always late. Always.
You're late to record this? Yeah, that was incredible. And then he added another level to it. He's he could have been done with that, and then he was like, I just never have understood how a man with half an inch of hair takes so long. Yeah, that was incredible. And then this would be random shout outs, but last question. Who was someone who was at the wedding that you were very surprised by, who was a really, really good dancer?
Myself. I was very surprised by my dancing.
Yeah, you're really good.
Who?
I remember
clearly Max has someone in mind, so we'll just let him answer.
This is I know when we talked about I remember you said gave a shout out to Alan Gamza, saying that I didn't know Alan was such a good dancer. And I don't remember what it was specifically, but it was really cute. He was dancing with his mom Sue at some point, but he did other types as well. But yeah, there's overall just so any pictures of sons or grandkids or daughters with the grandmas, where the grandmas were the all-stars of the weekend, especially on Friday when our grandmas all met for the first time, met Adele for the first time and vice versa.
My grandmas met your grandma.
Yeah,
for the first time.
I can't wait to see those pictures. It was so special.
Yeah. The grandmas really lasted the whole night. They were there. They were on the dance floor. They were great. It's
pretty hard to put a wedding into a podcast recording, but shout out my Uncle Cliff, who kind of put this idea in my head in the first place of we'd love to hear from Dana and you. Now we're making it happen. So this was really, really fun. And I just want to say for those listening, and I know Dana feels the same way, and you can say whatever you want, or in your own words, your own amazing words, but I just want to thank everybody again for making our wedding weekend the best wedding and best weekend ever. Special shout out to Gary and Cheryl for literally throwing the best weekend and party of our lives. Shout out to my parents.
Your parents for
Greg
the Friday night and the brunch on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And to just everybody, all the vendors and all the people at Addison, the whole team for making it we've never heard such rave reviews across the board on everything. And we're literally just in the week since the wedding, we've just been scrolling through all the pictures and posts and comments and everything, and just trying to soak it up and relive it as much as we can. And we're really excited for a full photo album and honeymoon and everything that's ahead. But it was just very, very, it was the best night and weekend of our lives. There's not much more to say.
Exactly. Definitely want to thank my parents. It was an amazing night. That was awesome. My maid of honor, Emmy, my bridesmaids, Alyssa, Nicole, and Dana were amazing.
You're going to make me list everybody too.
My brother, Adam, who was a groomsman, was awesome. He lives in California, but having him there with all of your guys was awesome. Having him connect with that. All our vendors, amazing job.
Yeah, Joni, the planner.
Joni, our planner.
This is credits on a movie
yeah.
or an album.
I feel like the music
Lara,
is going to play to have me get off the stage
play the
here.
Music. Yeah.
Anna from Addison. I'm sure we were so annoying, and she was so great. Your parents, your groomsmen.
Yeah.
And all our family and friends. And I apologize for anyone I missed. Thank you, and have a good night.
We should pull up the guest list and just go one by one. But no, it was amazing all around. Dana, I know how to connect with you. Obviously, I would hope so at this point. But where is the best place for people to connect with you if they want to, follow your photos on social media or anything like that?
Either Facebook or Instagram. Right now, I've not changed my name on social media, but that's coming soon. But look me up. It's probably when I do change. It's right now Dana Gottinger, and when I do change it, it will be Dana Gottinger Branstetter, so people can still find me.
Perfect. And we're adding a short and sweet last name to the mix as making up for all your years of having a long last name. So there we go.
Exactly.
Last thing, I know you already gave thank yous to everybody, but final thoughts. It could be words to live by. It could be just a line, whatever you want. Final thoughts, send us home here.
Thank you to everyone who celebrated with us. Even if you weren't able to come, we missed you, but it was an awesome weekend. And thanks to your parents for having you, and thanks to you for being my husband.
Thank you as well. You said it in your words from the heart, but I can't believe I get to call you my wife. Aww. Thank you so much, Dana. And thank you so much, everyone, for making our wedding and the weekend and just everything in this special time in our lives. I can't even put it into words, but thank you so much for making it the best day and night and wedding and weekend and moment in our lives of all time. If you want to hear more wild stories like this one, which they're typically a little bit different than this one, make sure to follow the Wild Business Growth Podcast on your favorite app and tell a friend about the podcast. And then re-listen to this seven times a day, I think, is the recipe. You can also find us on Good Pods, where there are fantastic podcasts and podcast recommendations and probably some more wedding recaps out there at some point. And for any help with podcast production, you can learn more at maxpodcasting.com. And sign up for the Podcasting to the Max newsletter at maxpodcasting.com/newsletter. Until next time, let your business run wild.
Bring on the bongos!